What is going on, everybody, and welcome back into Barlow Studios. We are continuing the Pokemon Sylveon number 700 in the Pokédex series. Now, as you can see, we are painting Sylveon, the Pokemon, the Evee evolution, in acrylics. And we're going to go ahead and start this video off by me just sketching in the rough design of the canvas here before I start to lay in acrylics of the background. Now, if you are keeping up with my channel, I did release this in a much slower version of a 6x speed video, which is around 45 to an hour long. And that is just a very relaxing, just, a little bit slower paced video and content as opposed to this. This is only a 15-minute long video, which is a lot shorter, and it's a lot easier to do like a nice little voiceover on this, as opposed to a 45-minute voiceover over the longer form content. And I hope that everybody enjoys the longer format. It's a lot, I wouldn't say more difficult to put together, but it does take more time just to, hold all that content and not shorten it up and condense it down. As you can see here, I've already got a little bit of the background laid in. Now, I will define that later on down the road as I get to later stages of the painting process. I'm going to go ahead and use a charcoal pencil here, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of do a rough sketch again. Obviously, it's a little bit different than the original sketch, but that's completely okay. Once I get done with that, I'm going to go ahead and begin bringing in a little bit of burnt umber and a little bit of just a Mars black mix to kind of give it a little bit of shading variation, kind of decide where I want some of the lines to be, some of the shadows, and some of the break lines. I want to bring in a little bit more of a realistic tone to a lot of these paintings that I'm doing for the Pokemon series in general. So they may differ from a lot of the content that you may see in other channels, or just in general the cartoon version. It may be a cartoon or an anime version that you see, but it's going to be a little bit more of my style. Now, just be aware that this version of the Pokemon here, Sylveon, is a Pokemon card. That is a card. I will link the original artist referencing that artist below in the description. So if you want to check them out as an artist, you can. They do tons of Pokemon cards, and I love using their art as references. And of course, I'm not going to be reselling these in any way. This is actually a painting for my daughter's Christmas present. So I plan to get her a Funko Pop and the actual Pokemon card that this references. And I'm probably going to get like a Pokemon gift bag, and she'll be able to open the entire Sylveon Pokemon themed present all together. Now, as you can see here, I am going to begin to introduce a little bit more of a pink rose. Now, all of the paints that I'm using in this painting are Winsor & Newton Galleria 2 paints. I really love their paints, and until I get sponsored by someone else, they are my go-to. Yes, they are. I'm going to slowly introduce a little bit more cadmium red into that pink rose and titanium white mix around the upper ears. I do want those to be significant darker. I want them to be much darker than they are in all of the reference photos that I've seen so far. Even the body itself, I want to be a little bit darker. And also, I'm going to introduce a little bit of burnt umber and raw siennas into those. So any kind of white highlights that I have, I will dinge them out. I do not want this to be a primed and premed Pokemon. I want it to be a rough, wild Pokemon, something that you would run across and you're just trying to capture it. As you can see, I was thinking about putting a pink Pokemon ball there, a Dream Ball, but I decided to eventually just reference the original content, and I do incorporate like a sap green accented Pokemon kind of like a treat bag of some sort. I don't know what to reference it as, but that's the best way I can describe it, is just a Pokemon treat bag. So maybe you're trying to entice this wild Pokemon to be your friend, like Ash Ketchum does in a lot of his series. A lot of the series, he doesn't actually battle for his Pokemon, he just kind of entices them as friends to join his crew, right? So as I kind of start to bring in some of the darker blues into the ear canal there, I really wanted to make these very dark. So I wanted them really to stand out in the painting. So I did incorporate a lot of Winsor blue in there, a little bit of Mars black, and then I kind of brought them into a lighter color in the center with a little bit of a pale blue. I believe that's like a haze of some sort, haze blue or pale blue. I can't remember. It's not a baby blue, I know that much. I can't remember. I'll reference it later. But and then I will come in later on down the road and give it a little bit more Winsor blue in the inserts of the ear canal. I do believe that those need to be a little bit darker than the actual inserts themselves. And as you can see, I'm also going to bring in a little bit of like a tuft fur texture around the top portions of the ears. So you'll see me kind of continuously come back to that later on in the process, and I really believe it adds my kind of style into the overall Pokemon, and it makes it look a little bit more wild and unkept. Kind of adding just a little bit of paint to the body there. I'm just trying to build up layers right there. I just really didn't like being able to see some of the canvas too through the painting there, so I wanted to build up a few layers, decide what really color tones that I wanted to go with and what kind of color variations, and how much of that pink rose I really wanted to add into the body. In a lot of the reference photos, the body is almost a pure white, if not toned by just a little bit of pink, and I wanted mine to be much darker. So as I went through this process, I really do darken it out quite a bit, and you'll see that towards the middle of the video here. As you can see there, I'm also going to really kind of detail out the kind of tendril ribbons that are coming away from those bows. I really didn't want to have any kind of rhyme or reason to their shading. I really wanted to be very random and kind of just chaotic coming away. Naturally, you'd want to normally put the lighter color or tone on the upper part of the tendril or the ribbon there, and you'd want to usually have the darker color on the very bottom. I just like to imagine that they're kind of like twisting and twining it, and they're like not all flat as far as the visual that we have. I just imagine that they're kind of twisting a lot along the way, and just because it has a darker tone on the bottom doesn't really necessarily mean that's the bottom or the back side of the ribbon. So I imagine that it would be the viewer's perception of how they would imagine those little ribbons coming away from those bows, kind of twisting and twining. Of course, my shading and paint work here in a minute will kind of like accent that a little bit, but I just wanted it to be very, very random. I didn't want to put too much detail into the ribbons themselves, and you'll see that later on in the process. Just really trying to get some of the shadow built up around the face here. I was really not happy with how flat it looked, so I do add a little bit of pinkish tone to the cheeks, around the edges of the eyes there, and I'm going to apply more of a titanium white kind of like glaze to the top bridge of the nose where it comes down around the mouth, and I want to make it look like that's kind of coming forward at least a little bit. And then the sides of the face are kind of like bleached out a little bit with titanium white as well. Applying a little bit more of that crimson red to that pink rose, just a little bit of titanium white there, not very much at all. And we're going to go ahead and continue on with the tail here. You'll see that I will paint it in a very similar manner. I will go ahead and downgrade to a really small detail brush, apply little tufts of hair here and there. And if I don't like any of these little tufts of hair along the way, I can always come in with that pale olive that I used a lot in the background, and I will kind of be able to kind of make those disappear, just blend them into the background until they're gone. Applying a little bit of that burnt umber. Now, I said earlier that I was going to bring in some burnt umber to really apply a lot of detail to it, and it makes it look a little bit more dinged out. This is more of my style. I like to apply a little bit of dirt texture to my creatures and Pokemon, and later on down the road, as I really start to create my own versions of these Pokemon, if I want to take it into a different direction, you'll see more and more of my style come out. But right now, I'm just kind of using the Pokemon cards that we run across, the ones that me and my kids pick out, the ones that viewers kind of request as the reference photo to a lot of these fun painting videos. And not only is it allowing me to create a lot of content for you guys, but it's also allowing me to practice. I really do want to practice my acrylic painting. I don't feel like I'm the fastest painter in the world, and I really do think I have room to improve, especially on my brush work. I really feel like I always lean towards my smaller brushes. I really think I need to start leaning towards my larger brushes, and then just work on the details later on in the process. It's just something that I'm working through, and just the best thing that you can do when you have problems like this and you're trying to get better is really just put in the studio time. Just get in the studio, get the brushes out, and just work with them. And I think that also working with paintings that have a lot of give to them, if you work with something that has a lot of personality, a large brush strokes into it, that it really changes the way that you paint it overall. But maybe I'll do one of those here coming up soon. Maybe I'll do like a Spiro or something, and it has a lot of large brush strokes and not stay so locked into the overall reference photo there. You never know where this Pokemon series will go. Not many people really request specific Pokemon, so it's really going to be interested as far as which Pokemon are coming up next. trying to apply a little bit of that color towards the end of the tendril there. I really wasn't happy with the overall color kind of combination that I was getting there between the colors. It's supposed to be like a light blue and then a dark blue violet and then a lighter kind of bright pink there. I really wanted to keep them very, very dark in opposed to the rest of the body. I really want to kind of bring them into the same color, kind of color code that I had for the ears in a way. So I wanted to kind of make sure that I was able to introduce a little bit of that Windsor blue into there somewhere. So I did use a little bit of ultramarine blue, a pale blue, as well as a Windsor blue on the cuffs or the ends of those tendrils there. So as I began to kind of really apply a lot more pink rose to the body there, you can see it really pinked it out quite a bit. It makes the face a lot more prominent. And as I go through the process, I'll come back and overlay a little bit more white into the body. And it really kind of just accents particular places along the body. And it just kind of frames in those existing colors. Now that pink will always show through the white colors or the white glazes that I do. But it just allows me to really quickly just apply a lot of color to it, get it really nice and cool looking. And here we are applying more of that titanium white. We'll continuously overlay that until I really get the overall color combination that I want. I would imagine that a lot of these Sylveon Pokemon, they don't necessarily all look the same. I imagine that there would be all sorts of different kinds and colors, and they wouldn't all have the same shading and color. And then if you catch one, who knows, maybe its coat will darken out over time, or it may lighten up. If we think about realistic scenarios like that, then we never know how a Pokemon could react. For instance, if I had this Pokemon in captivity, I could trim the ears, prune them, make them look less shaggy and less dirty, and so forth. At this point, you can really see that the Pokemon is starting to come alive here. And here in a few moments, I'm really going to start leaning in towards the background. Now, the background on this painting is very simple. It's going to be a variety of different layers and sporadic applications until I can get the overall desired effect here. Now, before I move forward into that, you can see I did apply little tufts of fur to the ends of each tendril. I just felt like that we're missing something, and I want to kind of blend those in and give them the same characters as the ears. So we applied a little bit of tufts of fur to the end of those, and I kind of blend those out with a little bit of pink and a little bit of burnt umber as well to give them a little bit of a dirty texture. Maybe they've been kind of in the woods, in the grime, grabbing a hold of food or reaching into trees, looking for stuff to eat, maybe digging in the ground, and I want to make sure they have a little bit of a dirty tone to them. Here we are working on the background here. Now this is going to be a variety of colors and different color combinations here, and I will kind of blend it out as I just feel like it. So the colors we're using here, we're using a little bit of Pain Gray, which is more of a lighter blue tone when you spread it out on the canvas, as opposed to like a dark gray. So Pain Gray. We are using a cadmium yellow hue. We are using a sap green. We are going to be using a pale olive, a lot of pale olive in this, you guys, as well as some hooker green, which is more of a forest green, really. And then as far as that, we're going to go ahead and blend those out till we get the desired effect we got here. I'm going to use a little bit of titanium white here and there in those mixtures, but most of the titanium white is saved for those little flowers that you see here. Now those are little, very just simple flowers that I kind of just caked on, and we gave it a little bit of a cadmium yellow to a yellow ochre center on a lot of those. The last thing for this painting here, before it's almost completely done, and as you can see, I did paint the sides in a pale olive as well, so it's almost completed here. And this is the front of the painting. We haven't got to the back yet, which we'll do a sketch on. This is where we're going to be kind of blending and painting in this more of a sap green style Pokemon bag. This is like a little treat bag that was in the painting, and I kind of wanted to incorporate that to kind of honor the original reference photo that we were kind of painting here. Applying a few last highlights and details to that, including a little bit of a titanium white highlight over the ends of the rope there that we'll add right now. There we go. Absolutely phenomenal. Now the next part of this series, we're going to be actually kind of in a charcoal and a light acrylic painting or sketch. We're going to apply a nice sketch to the back of the painting before we go into the Liquitex satin varnish. I really do hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe and like button and notification bell so you can see the rest of this series. Otherwise, guys, I will see you on the next awesome video. Later, guys.